If you're stuck around $200,000 GCI commission income and you're still working 60 hours a week with no progress to show, this video is for you. Until I figured out the system to scale from $200,000 GCI to $1.8 million within a single year. I'm breaking down the exact daily actions, mindsets, prospecting skills, and lead funnels that can take you to the next level. No nonsense, just the raw truth on how to break through to that next level and write over $1 million commission as a real estate agent. Number one, mindset and foundation. Your success comes from skill, not luck. And this is one thing that I learned very early on, is that this difference between myself and $1 million agent, we're the same type of people, we're all human, but it's the skill and knowledge inside my head. So the difference between myself and yourself is what is in my head. And that's important because say we want to cut down lots of trees in a forest and you've got a very blunt axe, you're not going to cut down many trees. But if you want to get better, you want to sharpen that axe. The sharper axe cuts down more trees. So if you want to sell more property, you need to get a sharp axe, because sharp skills, and then you're going to cut down a lot of trees. So it's all about skills in the beginning. And with the real estate system, there's a lot of ways to succeed in real estate. There's hundreds and thousands of different ways you can succeed. But the important thing to realize is we need to be consistent on a few different measures of things. We don't want to be doing 100 systems. We want to do maybe 3 or 4 direct prospecting systems to build our business and then repeat it again and again and again to get that momentum. That is the most important thing, not trying to do all these different things at once. It's all about the repetition of a system. And lastly, we want to become a listing focused agent. A lot of agents are working with buyers, and you can make money working with buyers, working them individually. But with the New Zealand system right now, buyer agents only get 20 or 30% of the commission split of the full 3%. So to become a listing agent, the benefit is that you're going to get your brand exposure, you're going to get more signboards, more people are going to know you, you're going to get $5,000 marketing budget potentially into your brand, you're going to sell the property quicker, you're going to get access to 50 to 80 new buyer inquiries. So that 50 to 80, that's very important for the next marketing level. The past 3 years, I've generated 4,000 Facebook buyer leads, and those 4,000 buyer leads have converted to more seller listings because I've focused on listings only, and then I work the buyers to get more listings rather than going around doing buyer work. Personally, I've sold 170 homes in the past 3 years, and I've done 0 buyer deals. I've only done listing deals. So just as a side note, my name's Kenyon-Slade. I've sold 170 homes in the past 3 years and written over $4.2 million commission. From the day that I sold my first home, I sold 170 and was rated the top #1 auction lister at Ray White. And now I'm starting my own real estate company in the near future, Limitless Real Estate. Number 2 is the daily habits of growth. We need to be doing 60 minutes of self-development training every single day to sharpen our skills. Now in New Zealand, we do the real estate gym, which is done by Tom Panos. We do Josh Vegan training, and we should do 60 minutes of this every single day. Now there's a few top trainers that I've followed quite closely. Josh Teslon, very good sales operator. Adrian Bowe, Marty Fox, John McGrath. I type these guys into the real estate gym, and then I watch their videos again and again and again. I watch probably their videos 5-6 times because I want to become that person. The better we can become and copy the top real estate agents, the more we're going to be like them and we're going to achieve success like them. So it's almost like, it's like Superman. If you're going to put on a Superman cape, that is, you're going to become like Superman. So let's put on the clothes like a top real estate agent. Let's act like them. Let's talk like them. Let's have the same mannerisms. Then we're going to become them. You need to almost fake it or be them before you actually achieve it. So copy their mannerisms and then duplicate it. Next thing is we need to be, in terms of daily habits, we need to be practicing our listing pitch every day. So if you're not that good at your listing presentation, sit down, put your phone up, and then practice it. Go through your scripts, read it out, talk to the camera, smile, use your eyebrows, use your tonality, volume, laugh, make jokes, and then turn it back, and then you watch yourself and you're like, oh shit, that looks terrible. That's hopeless. So the important thing with this is to look how bad you are, because when you see how bad you are, then you're going to realize, oh, okay, I need to improve this and this and this and this. Why do I sound like that? I need to maybe deepen my voice. I need to laugh a bit more. I need to smile and be more friendly. So the important thing over there is record yourself, because that's what the clients look at. If they see someone all stumbling and they're not doing their presentation properly, it's going to be very tough to succeed in real estate sales. Other daily habits is tracking your numbers. So we need to be tracking all of our numbers. The number of calls we're doing, the number of people we speak to, the number of letters we're sending out, the number of prospecting, outbound inputs we're putting out. So if we cannot track our calls, we cannot track the number of people we speak to, we can't track the number of appraisals we are booking in the calendar, how can we hold ourselves accountable and how can we improve it? Because if you can't hold yourself accountable and you can't improve it without tracking it, you're just spinning your wheels. So we really need to track every single number. And that's probably step one, is at the beginning of the day, end of the day, let's take account, let's fill out the spreadsheet and track our numbers. So what I do is I put an Excel spreadsheet. I'll have one column, I'll say number of calls done, number of people spoken to. Another column would be number of appraisals booked in the calendar. Now this is a face-to-face appointment or a Zoom call. We don't do email appraisals. If we're going to send email appraisals out to everyone, the conversion happens in the conversation. We need to be conversating with someone in person, and that's how we convert them to a listing. It's very tough to convert someone and convince them if you're just going to be emailing, email. So I try not to do any email appraisals. I want to be doing in person and speaking with them in person. That's very important. Then we also want to track how many minutes of self-development training are we doing every single day. This is vital. If we're not tracking this, we look at the past week, I've done 10 minutes of self-development training. Okay, now we look at the whole month, you've done maybe 2 hours of self-development training versus the next guy who's done 1 hour every day, 7 hours 1 week, 7, 14, 21, 28 hours in a month. He's got 28 hours of self-development research where he's watched a $1 million agent, watched them, copied them, watched them, copy them. Who's going to be more like the $1 million agent? It's the guy who's watched it and copied and duplicated the success. So tracking our numbers is very important. Appraisals, meetings, and also the number of minutes of self-development training we are doing. And this training, you can do it anytime. I'd recommend probably in the morning if you want to be up at 7 a.m., 7 to 8, you'd be watching over there. Or you can do it in the car when you drive into the office. Let's say it's a 20-minute drive. You want to put on the video, put on the audio, listen to it. Then whatever you listen to, take a few notes, review the notes, and then try take action. Because when you take action from the stuff that you've watched, you're going to remember it. If you don't take action after learning something, it just goes away and you forget about it. But as soon as you take action, it gets ingrained into your brain as a actionable thing. So it's very important. Learn, write it down, take action. That's very, very important. And also the last daily habits is we need to be writing out our priorities. So get a notepad. So I just have a standard notepad every day. There's my notepad, and I'm going to write out all my priorities, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have to be done every single day. If you're not going to write out your priorities, it's going to be very tough to see what needs to be done because you're doing all non-urgent things. The important thing is we want to do the urgent things, but also the non-urgent things that are very important to do. So non-urgent is training. Urgent is signing up the listing. But if you do the non-urgent training more and more, you're not going to get more listings, but you're going to get better skills. So writing out that priority list keeps you accountable and gives you the opportunity to review at the end of the day. Okay, I've done this. I haven't done this. Okay, tomorrow, first thing I need to do that point because I have run out of time. Number 3, metrics to master. Now these metrics is something as a bare minimum we should be doing if you want to be a successful real estate agent and you want to write $1 million. Firstly is the connects. How many people are you speaking to every day? Matt Steinwader, a very top agent in Australia, says the rule of 40. 40 connects every single day. You're speaking to 40 people. Now what does that mean? You might have to dial the phone 80 times, maybe 100 times, or you'll have to speak to 40 people in person. This is not easy. And if it was easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would be $1 million agents because it's easy, but it's not easy. We have to deal with rejection. We have to deal with people, maybe 1 or 2 swearing at us. We have to deal with reject. And the reason is 40 is simple. Over the past 12 months in Auckland, the number of sales has been around about, I think 3.5% of properties have sold in the past 12 months. What does that mean? That means that if you speak to 37 homeowners, 1 of them are going to sell in the next 12 months. So let's say we speak to only 20 people that day. Maybe we won't even speak to someone who's going to sell in the next 12 months. So let's try hit that 40. That 40 means that we're going to speak to at least 1 person who's going to sell in the next 12 months. Very important with these conversations is that we want to identify if they're wanting to sell. Like the main point of follow-up is the call is to identify the potential seller. identify when we need to follow up them, and then keep following them up. It's very tough to get this 1% to sign. Give them a call. Okay, we go there, sign it, list it, sell it. Boom, easy. That happens very, very minimal because only maybe 2% or 1% of people is actually in that zone at the moment. The rest of the people are maybe in maybe the 6 to 12 to 24 months, they're in that zone. So if we're only focusing on that 1% zone, we've very got a limited market. But if we focus on the 2-year zone, then we're gonna capture all those people, follow them up, and over the next 2 years, we can have a stronger pipeline. So very basic dialogue that we use is, do you have any plans to sell in the future? Super basic. We go on the call, we sold the Smith Street down the road, $800,000. Okay, great. We had 24 buyers miss out. Great. Do you have any plans to sell in the future at any time? Then we leave it. We'll wait for the owners to say, yep, oh, no plans at all. Then you say, no worries. We'll keep in touch. Hope you have a great day. Boom, next call. So we're not going to be calling and speaking to them for 10, 20 minutes. They might say, oh, I do have plans to sell in the future. Oh, okay, cool. What's the plan? Oh, maybe in the next 2 years we're planning, or 6 months or 3 years. We all say the future because we want to determine when. If it's 6 months, we're like, okay, cool. We're going to call them every single month or second month to build that relationship, because we need to speak to them at least 6 or 7 times before they are ready to list. So do you have any plans to sell in the future? Now, when you speak to 40 people in the day, we want to try book in at least 2 appointments in person. And this is vital, in person. 1 would be like absolute minimum, but 2 that would be a good goal, because if you can book in 2, that's going to be 10 for the week. And there's going to be some cancellations. So with those cancellations, that's normal. Maybe few will cancel and we hit on maybe 7 appointments. Just to give you a review of my team. So when we wrote $1.8 million in 1 year, we did around about 10 to 15 in-person appointments, 10 to 15 every single week. We had to book in 20 to 25 appointments in the calendar, but the rest we're going to cancel, reschedule, and we'll go see maybe 10 to 15 people over there. Those 10 to 15 people will sign up 1 or 2 listings through there. Sometimes 3 would be lucky. So if we do 5 appointments in person, we sign up 1 listing. And that's the stats. Very important to remember that. Next thing is the other metrics to master is we need to be adding contacts to our database. Any potential buyer we speak to, do you own locally in the area? Okay, you do. Do you have plans to sell in the future? Okay, cool. Now this is very important because now we're going to find out if the buyer owns locally and if they're going to sell in the future. And then we try and get their address as well. We need to try and add at least 20 new people or 25 to our database every single week. So every week, 20 to 25 people. What is that? So that's a lot of that. I think that's a few hundred people over the year that is going to get added to our database. By adding these people, we need to follow them up. The maximum time we need to leave between following them up is 90 days. You don't want to call someone in 6 months' time because it's going to be over. You want to call them 90 days maximum. Let's say, I'm never going to sell. They're taking me out in the box. I'm never going to sell this. Okay, cool. Have a great day. We'll call you. We'll keep in touch. And you give them a call in 90 days' time. All of the people you add to your database, you must have a follow-up system. Either you're going to be following them up from your CRM system. Either you're going to have a reminder in your phone on the reminder tabs. You can put reminder and then give them a call. Or you're going to put them in your calendar. I put them as a calendar invite, 8 a.m. Okay, call that person. As soon as I've called them, okay, now I'm going to put that calendar invite in 3 months' time. If I need to call them again earlier, then I'll put it 1 month or 1 week, all depending on their situation. So it's about that frequency builds trust is more important with that communication. When we add clients to our database, we want to have their full name, first name, last name, email, home address, all saved correctly into our phone. Very, very important to do that. And then lastly, the follow-up system. So if they're going to be a hot client, we need to follow them up either once a week or once a day or once every 3 days if they are seriously about selling soon. If they're a warm client thinking of doing something maybe, let's say 8 months, 9 months, we'll follow them up each month. And then if it's a cold client, then it's that quarterly time frame over there. Number 4, lead generation strategy. So when I started, it took me a while to get consistency in terms of leads. I was sending out lots of flyers, lots of letters, I was failing. But the important thing is we need to be trying to send, I'd say 3,000 flyers or letters every single week if you want to build a $1 million business. If you want to build maybe a 400-500K business, maybe you'll do 1,000 to 2,000 flyers, but we want to do it in the same area. We want to really saturate that market. If we can do a weekly or every 2 weeks flyer, 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 flyer. That person that gets 20 flyers through the year, they become more familiar with you. That is the key. We want to be more familiar with those clients, because the important thing with real estate is that vendors only remember a few different agents in their head. They remember 1, 2, maybe 3 agents in their head. And if you're not going to be 1, 2, or 3, you're going to be 0. You're not even going to get the opportunity to get that call. So if you're going to call them once, give them a call in 6 months' time, you are not going to be number 1 or 2 or 3. You're number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we want to be either number 1 or 2 in the consumer's mind when they're thinking of wanting to sell. How do we do that? Well, we're going to speak to them on the phone at least 4 times a year. Then we're going to be sending them flyers or letters in their letterbox. This is important because they're going to receive that. So let's say they get 25 of these in the year. Next thing, they're going to get social media ads. So you're going to target a social media ad, maybe around 3K radius or 4K radius, targeted in those people. You can even take their email, phone number, upload it to Facebook, and you create a database and target their personal email address and phone number through Facebook. So they get the Facebook ads and Instagram ads. That's another level over there. Now that client has got, and then you get their phone number and you want to send them text messages. So let's say it's a potential seller. We want to send them a text message every week of a recent sale, our auction results, just provide them a text update. So there's an app called Group Text. Now this Group Text app is on iPhone. You can get Android similar ones. I think one's called Hit M Up on Android. And we want to create a group and we want to send everyone a text. You type in the text, you push one button, it sends a text message out to everyone. This is so valuable because this text message is going to remind the client that you're alive and you're selling property in the area. If they get 52 text messages, they get 4 phone calls for a year, then they get 25 things in letterbox. They're getting up to 100 points of contact in 1 year just from you. So when they want to sell, you're going to be the chosen number 1 or 2 in that consumer's mind. Then you've got the email database as well. So they'll be sending weekly emails to those clients over there. Cool. So that's on the letters. Buy a database. So if you're a new agent, you don't have any type of database, I'd try buy a database. Go speak to an agent who's leaving the industry saying, hey, you're leaving the industry. Oh dear. Okay. Well, can I buy your database? Can I buy it for $2,000? Or I'll give you 10 or 20% of any commission I get from the database the next 12 months. And then I'll give you 10% after 12 to 24 months. For free, it'll be a referral fee. They give you 2,000 points of data and you just start calling all of that data. That's one method to buy databases from existing past agents. In terms of Facebook ads, more lead generation is every listing that I list online, I try have at least $500 to $1,000 on Facebook marketing. How do we do this? Well, we have specific case studies and strategies in our listing presentation on how we get this marketing budget. On average, we get about $5,500 per marketing budget, with our average price is around $1 million. And with this $1,000, that's going to get us 40 to 80 Facebook inquiries. And those Facebook inquiries are going to be homeowners, it's going to be some renters, and it's going to be a mixture of people. But that's going to build your database of potential clients in your network. So over the past 3 years, I've got over 12,000 contacts in my phone right now. Those 12,000 contacts is my database. I can call them, text them, email them, and that's from marketing through Facebook marketing with listings. Now that's important. When you're a listing agent, you get Facebook marketing. So we've spent maybe $80,000 the last 12 months just on Facebook marketing. And that's from the vendor paid. Vendor paid that advertising, they've paid it, and now they're going to get their property marketed. We get more buyers, better price, get sold, but then we left with the data at the end of the day, which is hugely valuable data. Leveraging our past buyers. Okay, we've talked about that. Coloring in competitions. Cool. If you also are lacking data, you can run a coloring in competition. Very easy. What we did is we took a coloring in competition for Easter, printed it out, made sure we had you have to put the kids' names, parents' name, home address, are you thinking of selling, yes or no? And then we have a few prizes. You can have gift like money prizes like $400. You can have a Nintendo prize. You can have a scooter prize. You can have some books prizes. You can have some sweets. Just maybe make 3 or 4 prizes and print out 1,000, 2,000. We printed out 10,000 coloring in competition pages. 10,000, boom, printed. Drove to all the schools. Great, we got coloring in competition handed out. They handed out. We did 10,000 people, and we had about 350 people entered. 350 data points, and that adds more people to our database. We handed out the prizes, great events, but we got 350 contacts out of that just for the cost of printing pages. Very, very valuable. Lastly is with lead generation. Look, we need to be aware that leads are anywhere. You can get an appraisal at any place if you're aware. So we need to be aware at all times of who is a potential seller and ask the question to everyone. So I've got appraisals out of really weird places. I've done an appraisal on another real estate agent's property, went through, there was a guy repairing a heat pump and repairing it, and I'm like, oh, hey mate, how's it going? I'm doing an appraisal on this one. Turns out the guy who's repairing a heat pump, he owns a property. I spoke to him, built a relationship. Do you have any plans to sell in the future? Yes, I'm renovating it to sell it. Okay, get his number, put him in my text system, call him, and then it was 3-4 months later, we sold it $900,000. Boom, sold. Another way, I was out in town, spoke to a friend, another friend is there talking, okay, get his number. Oh, he's got some property. Turns out he's got 4 properties he wants to sell in my patch area, and we get his number, we sell 2 of his properties. Boom, sold. And I just met him out on the nightclub when we're out having drinks. There's leads everywhere. We get appraisal leads from waitresses at the bar. We get appraisal leads from going for lunches, just speaking to everyone as a potential. You're walking in the street, you see someone, oh, hey mate, how you doing? Oh, you own this property. What's your plans in the future? I work for this company. So anyone you speak to is a potential lead. Anyone. They could know a developer. We get leads from people that don't own a property, but they have a friend that owns a property, and then they refer you through and then you sell it. So very important as an agent, you need to view every conversation as a cold call, because if you go speak to someone out on the street, you've done a cold call. They're not going to hang up with you. You can smile, you can shake their hand, and it's a lot easier to actually build connection with someone in person. So always be aware that there's potential sellers everywhere. One last story is we were doing some door knocking, and we door knocked for about an hour. And then what happened was we're wrapping up, walk to our car, I see a blue Porsche parked out there, and I'm like, okay, there's a rich guy over here. Development site on the side, okay, this guy's obviously a developer, he's got the Porsche, and we spoke to him, and turns out he's doing the development. He's got five properties that he's developing. We build rapport, get his number, and we build that connection, and that could potentially be a $100,000 to $200,000 sales commission if we sell all of those. And all from seeing the car, knowing that there's value there, trying to meet that person, and then building that relationship. So being aware that there's listings everywhere. Number 5, listings versus buyers. Listings are leverages, and buyers they suck your time, because you might run with a buyer through 10 different listings, and then they go and buy through another agent. Whereas listings help build our brand and our credibility in the marketplace. So to give you a review of my last 12 months, we've done 600 appraisals. We've done 100 to 120 listings, and then we've run about 80 auctions. We've sold 70 to 80 homes, is that we fluctuate between 70 to 80 sold, and that is a result of the 600 appraisals. So what I do through the listing thing is, the very important thing is to focus on the vendor motivation versus the price. Because agents that focus too much on the price, they're getting it wrong. Because the price sometimes is not the problem. The problem is where they're moving to, what's the next plan, what are you going to do with the money? Most people don't just sell the property and say, oh, I'm going to go spend all the money, I'm going to go on a massive holiday. It's not very, very common. They're normally selling because they're moving to upsize, someone's dying, there's divorce, there's some reason that they need to sell. And when I was starting out agent at $100,000 commission or zero, I was in $0 commission for about 5 months. It was terrible, almost went broke. And the thing that I did is I thought that price was important, and motivation, I didn't dig too much in terms of that motivation. The key skill that I learned was that the motivation of someone trumps everything. We had a lady, very nice lady. She wanted a massive price, like close to $2 million. She had to sell because downsized, the house was too big. She ended up selling for 1.35. We've got the dream price, but we sell for the market price because motivation actually trumps any price. So important, whenever we speak to clients, we want to be qualifying people and making sure that they have that strong motivation. And you can always take a listing that's overpriced if you know that motivation is going to get there and come through. Sometimes you got to take the risk. You're not sure if that vendor is going to meet the market, but at the end of the day, we're here to maximize the price. Sometimes we get lucky, sometimes we don't get lucky. That's the way real estate goes. Next thing, presentation and confidence. So when you're a new agent, passion would beat experience. It's the only way you can do it. Passion, energy beats the experience if you have it. It doesn't win all the time, but it can win. So what this means is if you're going to do an appraisal, you can go to the owner and you can say, look, I'm not the most experienced. I don't have 20 years experience, but I've got the most energy. I'm going to work harder than any agent on all the buyers. I'm going to call the buyers. I'm going to build relationships with them. I'm going to door knock the whole street. I'm going to work harder than anyone else. I'm going to speak to all agents in the whole suburb to see if they have a buy for your property. I work with everyone, and I'm going to be relentless. And if the owner doesn't want to give you a listing, you can always door knock them the next day and say, look, I'm back again. I'm gonna be like this for the buyers. I'm gonna come back. So this is the one, Marty Fox did this strategy, his very first listing. He failed, lost the listing, drove back to the office, and the manager said, turn around, go back to the listing, tell them that you're gonna work harder than anyone else, and go ask for the business again, even though the vendor says, nope, you can't get the listing. He drove back, turned on some massive music, went there, said, I'm gonna work harder than any other agent. I'm gonna be like this for the buyers. I'm gonna be like a mongrel dog going for all the buyers. Please, can I get this opportunity to sell your property? And he said it with passion, energy, and she gave him the listing. And he had zero experience, nothing. So the passion beat the experience, because people see you as an underdog. They say, oh, well, I used to be like that. Let's give this guy a shot. He's gonna work hard. Let's give him a shot. Humans want that underdog to succeed. They want that level. They want that underdog to succeed. Next thing is presentation. So in terms of when you are wanting to upskill yourself, you're going to take other agents to the appraisal. So if you're a new agent, so I'd always recommend also take another experienced agent to help close some listings for you so you can see how it works. I didn't do this well enough. I took maybe a few people. I should have taken more agents because that would give me a better opportunity at getting listings. Then practice your pitch. See if you can add a bit more of your pitch into their pitch and try and work it together. Another thing that I did not understand or realize, or thing that I wish I knew, was that sometimes it's tough to learn from an agent that has got such long experience in the marketplace. They're getting listings because they're just chatting to list. So they go, they meet the client, they say, okay, yep, you want to sell this. They sign the listing, they walk out and it's all done. Client knows them, they built the rapport. So from a new agent, they don't know how that happened. They're like, wow, that was amazing. But they didn't learn anything because it was all that long-term relationship. You go with an agent that doesn't have a long experience in the marketplace and they can get a listing, even though the client doesn't know them, they don't know who they are, and they still get the listing. Now you've learned how to get a listing even when the client doesn't know you, they don't know you exist, because now you've gone from 0 to signed within 1 hour. So that's the thing to note, is that getting listings as a new agent versus very experienced can be a bit of a different ball game. Presentation and confidence, continuing in this, is testimonials and case studies and auction stats. So when we're selling properties, we need to be including case studies. So in our presentation, I include case studies, 4 or 5 of recent properties I've sold, example marketing budgets, example results, example over reserve. When we've sold the property, I say, look, great, let's do a quick video testimonial. We record, put the microphone on the client, and they do a video testimonial. Then I play all those video testimonials to the clients at the new presentations. I say, oh, here's some success videos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all my success videos. I choose the best ones. People want to see those recommendations because they're more likely to trust other humans rather than just yourself saying I'm the best. So those video testimonials, vitally important. And I put on the iPad. I play them big on the iPad so people can read these testimonials. Very, very important there. Number 7, team and scaling. So originally I did start solo. I tried to go with a few different teams, and then I wanted to build my own team. So I sold one property with another agent, and because I'd done over 200 appraisals in the past 5 months, I built up some momentum in terms of listings, and I ended up signing 4 listings in my second week, and I sold 4 properties within, say, a 4-week period, and I was away. I try to outsource my time as soon as possible. So after 12 sales, I hired my first admin assistant. I had no money to pay them for the next 2 months. I had 2 months of money, and then I was gonna go broke again. So I saved up some money and I hired them straight away, and I said, I need to list more property or I won't be able to support them. So I took a risk, 12 listings within 3 months, and then hired my first admin and hired my first associate. Now, my first associate, one of the best associates ever, because he listened, he took action, he had a firm handshake, smiled, good energy, and was there to self-improve. I said, we need to watch training every day. He watched training every day. We need to do these calls. We need to speak to 40 people a day. He called 40 people a day. What happened? He's done 90 sales transactions his first 2 years and written over $60 million commission, just because he focused on doing the calls, he focused on improving himself, and he was self-aware to just practice and track his numbers every single day. So it's not rocket science. We just need to follow those systems. So then as I started when you hire your first associate, it's probably going to be a rookie person that has 0 experience. But once you get more and more experience, you might want to hire people that have existing experience, have sold at least 10 properties, and you can take them from that 10 to 20 or 30 properties. So with our team is I hired an associate for every 20 properties I sold. I hired a new associate. So hired one, then we sold up to, I think, 35 properties, hired another one, sold up to 50, hired another one, sold up to 70 properties, hired another one. So we had like 4 associates, 1 full-time admin, and myself. The key was that we were putting in 330 hours of time into my business. Yes, they were getting cuts of commission. I was putting money back into marketing, but it was momentum into my brand. And the important thing to talk about brand is I focused on my face brand. So face brand is very important because faces versus names, faces are remembered 67% more than names. What does this mean? That means that if you're going to market yourself, if you just put your name in a small photo of your face, no one's going to remember you as well as if you had a big photo of your face. So big photo on the signboard, big photo on the open home sign, big photo on the billboard. I took a billboard, I had my biggest face possible. Why? Because now people drive. Firstly, they have an emotional connection to the smiling face. You become more friendly. They have deeper recall. They remember your face more. They become more trusting. They trust your face more. So now when they're thinking of selling, they're like, oh, that number one agent, I recognize his face. He is that person that I can remember. That is who they're going to call, the person with the biggest face that's in there, imprinted in their brain. So big face marketing, very, very important. Now my whole team, we were all marketing my face. So every signboard, I had a big photo of my face. Every sold sticker, I got the biggest sold sticker ever, biggest photo of my face. Now we've got probably 20 other agents copying myself because it works. It works and builds that brand alignment. As a team trainer, when you're building up a team, your job is to bring in the listings, train the team, offload the buyers and the admin. So as you progress through things, then I didn't go to open homes anymore. Now I don't speak to buyers anymore. I only deal with the hot negotiations with the listings. That's important because now I'm getting more nuanced skill. If I'm doing 600 appraisals and negotiating with 2 or 3 deals, getting them sold each week, I'm getting better and better skills. I see more deals and I get better. So that experience improves and you get better, and then you start to cut out the more mundane, smaller tasks like doing appraisals. I do a little bit of the appraisal, I get a virtual assistant to do the appraisal fully for myself, and it's in my iPad the next day. So now your skill level is focused on doing the most highly valuable tasks of the day, trying to do everything at once. Now the last thing with team and scaling is reinvestment. Now I did a huge reinvestment when I started my real estate business because my goal was to sell 100 properties as quick as possible to learn the skills. I sent an email to Tom the day I joined real estate sales and residential sales. And I said, Tom, I'm going to sell 100 properties as quick as possible and build a team around me. That was my goal. And that's what I did. Within 8 months, I had a team of 4 and we were selling properties. So we sold 100 properties within, I think it was 1.5 to 2 years. And then we sold 170 up to 3 years. Now, what I did is the day that I sold my first property to 1 year later, I took out 30K to live and all my money back into marketing, back into team wages, back into exposure. That's all I did. So after 1 year, I had $0 left in my bank account. But what happened is my brand went skyrocketed. So this was one of the worst times in New Zealand market for property sales. Our market dropped 20 to 30% in price and it remained flat. It's remained flat for about 2 years now. So the day I joined sales, the market was dropping significantly. Over a 1 year period, dropped 30%. We had some development sites drop 50% in price. They were selling 1.3 mil, now they're selling $800,000 or $700,000 commission. So what I did was I put all my money into marketing. All the agents, we had agents writing 1.6 million, they dropped down to 500K, 600K commission. Their business dropped by 70%. So while they are in reclining mode, they feel like they're losing money, I just spent all my money on marketing. I was the last person in the office, I was earning $0 and I went up to number 1 within a year and a half. We were writing $1.5 million within a year and a half. And then we wrote 1.85, 1.9 million in that third year. So the key was reinvestment into marketing and just pumping marketing, because you can get good at your phone calls and door knocking, but if I'm going to send 3,000 letters through the week, every week 3,000 letters, I've got $80,000 into Facebook ads, I've got 25K into Google ads, and I've got another say 20K into billboards and buses. My brand exposure is going to build, it's going to build momentum. So reinvestment into marketing, very, very important. Each agent minimum should be doing 20% of everything I earn, 20% back into their marketing. So if you're going to write 200K, take 40K or 30, put it back into marketing. That's very important to scale up. And you'll find that those leads are the easiest. They just call you, they're looking at selling, lead comes in, you list it, you haven't need to do 200 phone calls to get that lead. So right now, after that 1 year, then I shift a bit. Right now, I spend 13% of my money onto my living expenses and vacation and everything. So what I do is I save as much as I can, or I reinvest it back into the business. It's about delayed gratification, because if I can delay my gratification, I can save more money, I can build into business, and I can build some momentum even more. So essentially the past 12 months is 40% of what I made, I went back into the business. 50% what I made, I just saved it. I just built that war chest, and I think 10% or 13% I spent on myself. So I've still kept the same expenses, very similar, and put all my money back into the business. Now what's happened, I've built up a lot of money in terms of storage that I can reinvest into a new business opportunity and build that, or I can buy property, and then my business has now got strong momentum. So I was all about, let's delay gratification, let's not buy the fancy car, let's not do this, let's not do this now, and reinvest it into business. That's another key to success, reinvestment. Number 8, we're getting close to the end, tools and resources. So to learn in self-development, I created a $1 million sales course where I put all my scripts, letters, listing pitch, and my mindset modules into this course. You can purchase this course, it's around $1,000, and it's very cheap for what you get, because if you get 10 or 20 sales extra, that's going to be 200 to 300K in terms of value. So I've made a course on my $1 million sales course. Other resources that's very good to use is to use Zapier. So when any Facebook lead that comes through, if you pair up with Zapier, Zapier would create the Facebook lead, send as a direct email to yourself so you can get that, and then it'll create a spreadsheet of all your Facebook leads. Next is virtual assistants. Now I use probably 4 or 5 virtual assistants in a few different manners. Number 1, I've got a guy that does video editing for myself, and that's very good. I'll find them on Upwork. So Upwork is a freelancer website. You can go on Upwork, you can type video editor, real estate virtual assistant, you can type all these different names, and this is going to be able to give you the opportunity to work with people that are in Philippines, Bangladesh, India, any company that you pay them maybe $5 to $8 per hour, US dollars, per hour of work. So I've got one virtual assistant, she does all my appraisal work. So I'll select the appraisals, then she'll log into my system, do the full appraisal, put it into my iCloud. So in the morning, I've got 5 appraisals ready to go. So I don't spend maybe 15 minutes a day on if I want to do 5 appraisals. Very easy to do. Next thing, cold calling. I've got one guy in Egypt, one guy in the Philippines, and they'll do around 300 dials every single week for myself part-time. And they're going to call all the past buyers to check in to see if they have potential properties they want to sell. So that's all more additional into my database. So virtual assistants, the important thing with virtual assistants is when you go on Upwork, there's a few key things. Firstly, you can filter for people with are top rated and they've got good experience, and you can look at their reviews and you can see that they've earned at least maybe $10,000 on Upwork. So they're a trusted person. So that's how I filter. If you're going to select one person to be working 10 hours a week, you can hire them for 10 hours a week, 2 hours a week, 20 hours a week. I would try and interview at least 3 or 4 of them, maybe 5. Do a video interview, maybe give them a basic task, and don't just jump right in. Just make sure we've vetted them slightly, give them some test tasks to do. And it's really good if you want to use Loom. So Loom is a great platform to record your whole system. You can record everything on your computer with Loom, and then you create a link, and that link is just a whole video, and you send it over to the virtual assistant. They'll watch the whole video and they'll copy and duplicate your whole system. Very easy to do that. So that is all the virtual assistants over there. And number 9, the final lessons. This is just wrapping up everything. Firstly, obsession with practice. We need to obsess and practice because that's going to bring the results. If you're not practicing and playing, it needs to be a bit of fun. We need to have a fun with real estate. You need to realize that it's people number 1, property number 2, and you're dealing with people. We're not dealing with property at the end of the day. It's people on people. We need to track everything. Remember, track your numbers. If you can't track it, you can't measure it, you can't measure it, you can't manage it, and you cannot improve. Follow up converts the listings. So we need to be following up everyone. If you follow up with them 12 times, 20 times, 100 times, you're more likely to win that listing. It's not about that lucky 1%. It's about the follow-up consistency in the long term. And lastly, we need to surround yourself by the high performers. So you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. If you're going to surround yourself with people that are not that great, that are writing 100K commission, you're going to pick up those skills. If you're going to surround yourself with someone who's writing $1 million, if you're going to watch videos of guys writing $1 million or $2 million or $10 million, you're going to pick up those skills. So all the skills that I've just talked about right now is I've learned it. I've watched it, I've implemented, I've tracked it, I've learned it. And I had 3 years ago, 0 experience. I was writing $0. I had $0 in my bank account. I was broke. But now I've got success. I've sold 170 homes because I've learnt, practice, repeat, repeat, repeat. So I've surrounded my knowledge base by watching the videos. I've surrounded myself by pairing up, going to mentor sessions, meeting up and getting close to these high performers, because the quickest way to get super success is to either watch someone and then pair up with them and see it in person. That is a way to get super success. So very good. If you're looking to scale from 200K GCI, you're feeling stuck, to $1 million, this is the summary view of my whole presentation over here. Like, subscribe. If you need any more information, give me a call, and have a great day.